Come to order, please. Come to order, please.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Are all members present signed in?
Mr. Chairman, you have 16 members present.
We do have a quorum. This commission did publish on June 25th, 2018 in a newspaper of general circulation for Blount County, Tennessee, a notice of a public hearing to be held on this date and at this location and this hour. This public hearing is now convened and is open to hear all oral testimony and comment on Resolution 18-07-018. The proposed resolution amends the zoning map of Blount County, Tennessee from R1, Rural District 1, to S, suburbanizing for 4 tracts of land totaling 48.20 acres located at and near 1355 Pollard Valley Road, Maryville, Tennessee. The properties are identified on tax map 091, parcels 060.00, 060.17, 060.18, and 060.19. Does anyone wish to speak on this matter? Please come forward, lady in purple right there. Please come forward, identify yourself, and what district you live in, please. And remember, this is on the Pollard Valley Road.
Hi. Excuse me if I stutter. I'm not used to speaking at public things like this. I just wanted to address the board.
Could you state your name,
Oh,
please?
I'm sorry. My name is Michelle Chenoweth. I live off Best Road. I live, if you guys have the map that shows that parcel, I'm right down here in the corner. I back up to Pollard Valley. It's one of my little slices of heaven here in Tennessee. And so it's very concerning to me to hear of it changing like this. I moved 2 years ago from Florida and was in a suburban environment, very suburban, very population dense, and was trying to move away from that. And we looked long and hard for this location. Actually, my parents retired and moved up here next door to me, so they're this little slice of heaven right next to us. And we specifically were looking for a place that was not suburban. We have friends and neighbors from our church right there on Best Road who are also very concerned about it changing. I brought a picture for whatever it's worth. I'd be happy to show it to you because I know that a picture on a map of, grid lines doesn't quite do it justice. But to have it change from rural, and rural doesn't do it justice, to have it change from tranquil and peaceful to suburban is such a stark contrast. And a lot of us on the road there are concerned about that contrast. It's going to be such a juxtaposition to have lived there, and I've only lived there 2 years. There are so many there who have lived there for generations on Best Road. There's Eleanor Best up the hill. She owns the slice that comes down in an L and backs right up to this. Across the street is her husband's cousin, and they're a Best family. And there's Tommy and Sue Best, and there's Debbie Best, and so that family has lived there for generations and generations. And so to watch that change from the farmland they knew and this peaceful, tranquil place to a place that we're being told is going to have 300 some odd houses, 400 houses, we're not even sure, it keeps going back and forth, to being told, you know, Pollard Valley here, the little gravel road that my kids run up and down on, and they run down to the hill to Jamie's property. Jamie owns that. He has a tree trimming business, and that borders on the bottom of that. And my kids go and they play on the hay bales in the field there. And to be told that that's going to switch from what we know to 300 and some houses is just a stark contrast that I wanted to put a face to. You know, I'm not familiar with the tax laws and with zoning laws and restrictions and things like that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
But I'd love your consideration and maybe
Thank you,
finding
ma'am.
a compromise.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Please state your name, please.
Good evening, Josh Sanderson. I'm with Smith Built Homes. I just want to introduce myself and say I'm here for any questions, comments, or anything that y'all would have for the developer or builder. Again, Josh, so you can call on me if you need anything.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Come forward, sir. State your name, district you live in.
Mike DePriel. I live on Best Road. I've got a piece of property, a house and property that butts up to Pollard Valley Road on the side that currently is not developed. One concern I've got is that this rezoning would make Pollard Valley have to have access out the direction toward Best Road. And Best Road is just a narrow 2-lane road, you know, with difficulty right now handling the traffic that there is on it. And so just the infrastructure issue, let alone the number of houses on there, number of people and traffic that there would be. So anyhow, those are my concerns, you know, aside from just the view of, you know, beautiful rural.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to speak on this item? Please come forward, sir. State your name, district you live in.
My name is Kenton Hancock, and I reside at 1326 Pollard Valley Drive. And in summary, our primary concern with the project is that while it may not be evident, it will in fact result in hundreds of cars passing through our community where there is absolutely no through traffic at this point. Now, we understand that the contractor has not proposed to put anything through. I don't know how familiar you are with the development of Pollard Valley Estates, but initially it included a segment of the property that is being asked to be rezoned. But Pollard Valley Estates, as originally planned, was divided almost in half by a piece of property owned by a railroad. And that remains as a barrier, except that the owner of one of our lots, one of the 2 lots that actually bordered on the railroad property, contacted the railroad and actually arranged to obtain that segment of the railroad property that belonged to him, plus a piece that extended over part of what appears to be a road. Apparently, at some point in the past, the Pollard family had put a road across that property owned by the railroad, which entailed putting in a wooden bridge to cross a creek. What, if any, arrangement they had with the railroad, I have no idea. But Pollard Valley Drive, as it now exists, runs from Carpenter's Grade Road, approximately 550 feet and ends in a cul-de-sac. The only thing exiting from that cul-de-sac is a driveway going to each side and a gravel road going forward toward the railroad property. That road is private property belonging to those lots which abut on that road. So there is no public property connecting. However, the proposal of the contractor is to provide only 2 exits.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your comments. Your time is up. Thank you,
Pardon?
sir. Thank
Okay.
you, sir, for your comments. Does anyone else wish to speak on this item? Raise your hand, please, if you do. Folks, you need to find a chair and have a seat, please. There's some chairs up front. You need to have a seat, please. Hold on just a second, sir. Let everyone get seated here. Folks, you need to have a seat. Sorry, sir. Go ahead. State your name, please.
Philip Clemens, 3516 Carpenter's Grade Road. I live pretty close to this property, and my big thing is the wetlands, and if we allow this to be developed or suburbanized, what's going to happen with all the water? I mean, right now in heavy rains and floods, I see my neighbor's property, you know, it does recede and flow down the creek, but if you increase the flow already to the wetlands down there, you're going to cause even further flooding on down. And that is a concern, and I don't know if it's been addressed with this allowing this to be developed or not. And, you know, each time some place is suburbanized, the property that gets farmed or whatever next door, you know, it just keeps moving out and out, and then you get complaints. But, you know, my big concern was the drainage, and has anybody done a conservation looked at it and see what suburbanizing this farmland's going to do, because it's definitely drastically going to increase the water flow, just like the development on up the street has already increased a lot of the water flow from there. But that was a definite concern that I thought needed to be looked into. You know, not only that, when you develop all this, our schools are at maximum potential in that area right now, and we're going to incorporate 300 to 400 more homes down there, let alone the little roads we have down there. You know, that's 300 to 400 more cars if only one person in the family's driving. So, I mean, I'm against taking farmland and developing it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to speak on this item? Please come forward, please, ma'am. Come forward to the podium. State your name, district you live in. Folks, you need to have a seat. Thank you. State your name, please.
My name's Adrienne Smith, and I am the owner of the property at 1344 Pollard Valley, as well as 1346, which is the World War II train car that sits at the back end of this property. I own the easement on into the roadway that was deeded over to this property, and Sterling Mechanical has those plans. So I'm very concerned about how this is going to approach, since that's my piece of property back there. So I'll be eager to hear what information you can share with me about how that's going to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else wish to speak on this item? Please come forward, ma'am. State your name, district you live in, please. We're still on the Pollard Valley Road, folks. Does anyone else wish to speak on this item? Anyone else wish to speak on this item? This public hearing is now closed.